This episode is brought to you by TaxAct. Don't do your taxes alone. Join TaxAct's National Admin Night. Admin nights are social gatherings for getting through your to-do list. So get ready for a night of fun, finding deductions, and filing taxes with TaxAct, where you can file your federal and state return for just $49 through April 8. Let's get together and get them over with. Visit taxact.com/admin-night for details.
Welcome to The Secret Life of Cookies, where we try to solve the world's problems through the miracle of carbohydrates, one recipe at a time, with host Marissa Rothkopf and her dog, Bosco.
Hello, people out there in podcast land, and thanks again for joining me. Today's guest is the author of the cookbook, Will Run for Doughnuts, and owner of Rabble Rise Doughnuts, Rachel Wyman. Not surprisingly, we go deep on baking and talk about the challenges of keeping a small business afloat during COVID. What Rachel did for the community during that time, and continues to do, should inspire all of us. Meanwhile, I quietly murmur to the magnificent box of donuts she brought me in my first ever, live in my kitchen, finally together in person baking session. Oh, yes, and we make her very famous Cowboy cookies.
Anyway, hello and welcome to The Secret Life of Cookies. We are doing, not a first, I did have my first in-person podcast with Mary Trump in her apartment, but here I have someone even more special. I have Rachel Wyman, we call her a local baker with national appeal. She is the founder of what formerly known as the Montclair Bread Company and now known as Rabble Rise Doughnuts. She is a super duper accomplished baker. She has baked for everything and everybody. You've competed, right?
Yeah.
She's competed and she has a cookbook. What's your cookbook called, ma'am?
It is called Will Run for Doughnuts.
Will Run for Doughnuts. Because along with being a superstar baker, you're also a marathon runner.
I am.
Have you always run, or is that something that came to you halfway? Like you're like, oh my God, I'm making donuts every day, I should run.
Yeah, like that. I was making donuts every day, and I just had my third baby. In 4 years. I had 3 babies in 4 years, and I opened a business when said baby was 5 months old. So, and I started making donuts, and I have all these children needing my time, and this business needing my time, and these donuts that I have to eat. I'm like, I probably should work on, some fitness. And then I realized that, well, first off, all my donut customers were runners. I used to just make donuts on Sunday morning. And the line would be full of runners, like pulling sweaty dollars out of their sports bras. Super gross. And I was horrified at the time. Now I carry Ziploc for my dollars in my sports bra. To keep it dry. I actually, on Sunday, I hadn't delivered the paychecks to my staff, and they were at my house, and I was going for a run after I made the donuts. And so naturally I put all of the paychecks in a giant quart-sized Ziploc bag in my bra and ran them to them. And they were pretty horrified.
That's pretty horrified.
But they were dry. And
paycheck's a paycheck.
Yeah, right. It's still cashable. So the runners, I wanted to do something to, show them that I cared about them. And so I hosted a 4K donut run 9 years ago. And I ran my first mile, 2-point-ish miles. And I realized during that run, it was the first time in 4 years that I had an uninterrupted conversation with another adult. And that's when I decided that I needed running in my life so that I could talk to adults without kids interrupting me or the bakery stuff interrupting me. And I'm out on the street. Nobody can find me unless I want to be found. which now I think my daughter has like a beacon on my phone or
Sure.
something. So when I'm running, she can find me.
Yeah.
Which is,
She has
you know,
Life 360.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
Instead of you having
Totally.
other kids.
Yes, she does. She does. So yeah, that's how I started running, was just to have some time to myself, and then, you know, get in shape and eat donuts and continue to eat donuts, because runners and carbs kind of go together.
Yes, especially fried carbs go together with almost any lifestyle.
Right.
I have a box of the donuts, which I in front of me that Rachel is. That's why it's nice when people come to your house, especially if they run a bakery that has donuts. Because what do I have in the box in front of me?
So I brought you a very diverse selection of the dough that I make, which is what I think makes my donuts most special, is the variations on the dough itself. Because like so many donut shops that are out there, the ones that you go to at the beach on the boardwalk, they're getting a bag that's just add water. And then they put it in this like little robot frying thing with this hopper that just like deposits it in the oil, and they do it over and over and over again. And it's a hot donut, and it tastes good because it's hot, not because it actually tastes good when it's cold. So I make all of these doughs, and they're all special. And so what you have here is a cruller, which isn't a yeasted dough at all. It's actually a churro this month. It's a pat a choux that's fried and dredged in cinnamon and sugar and drizzled in fudge. So it's like all of the elements of a churro in a ring.
And pat a choux is a great thing to fry. I mean, you use it for like cream puffs and eclairs, but here you fried it.
Because a traditional cruller, actually in traditional churros, it's pat a choux, like, you know, before the big companies got their hands on it. And then we have brioche a few different ways. So there's actually a chocolate brioche dough that's fried into a donut. And that one is dipped in a peanut butter glaze. And it has mini Reese's pieces and crushed up Reese's cups and some fudge on top.
I'm just like quietly
what dreams are made of.
I'm quietly giggling over here, like kind of maniacally, like.
And then the third donut in the box is a sour donut that's maple glazed. And the sour donuts are super special. They take 36 hours to make, and they're actually accidentally vegan. Yeah. So it's flour, water, salt, a little olive oil. We use palm sugar in them, and then the sourdough starter that gets fed twice a day, and then it has a maple glaze on it. So
that almost sounds healthy because of sourdough. It has this.
Okay.
Anyway,
I tell people the calories are in the whole.
That's great. Yeah. I think you have to come up with all that sort of crap when you're sell donuts.
Yeah. And if you don't, the customers will do it for you.
Absolutely.
So then you have a couple baked treats in there that we call yum buns. And I know you like the yum buns, so I brought them specially for you.
Thank you.
There's a plain brioche, so like a vanilla brioche that is rolled up with brown sugar and cinnamon, and then it's baked. And it after it comes out of the oven, it gets dipped in clarified butter and rolled in cinnamon and sugar. So it's like cinnamon toast crunch, or cinnamon toast. Like my mom used to make me cinnamon toast for breakfast. So that's what it tastes like on crack.
Yeah, and it's also like massive. I will take pictures and post them online because it's truly. You need to be like
it's an
alone.
Experience.
You need to be alone with it.
And so everyone on our staff, that's their go-to. Like that is what we eat when we want a donut. We eat a yum bun.
Yes.
And the next to it is the chocolate version. So we take the chocolate brioche dough, and it has chocolate cookie crumbs and chocolate chips and granulated sugar in the middle of the swirl. So it actually tastes like chocolate babka. It's the same filling that I would use if I made chocolate babka. And then when it comes out of the oven, still have the clarified butter, but it gets dipped in granulated sugar and a dark cocoa powder. So it's the chocolate version of that.
I kind of feel like I need to be alone now.
I know.
With them.
I know.
But I'll share them and I'll photograph them, and you all can experience them. I've eaten
for donuts before. I interviewed Rachel a long time ago when I was writing for the New York Times, and I knew that there was this great new bakery in town, and I was writing all about great new things happening in New Jersey, and you were about the greatest thing that was happening in New Jersey then. And you were making donuts and cookies and bread at that point.
Yes.
But your donut business sort of exploded then.
Yes. Might have had something to do with that story that you wrote in the New York Times.
Maybe. But I remember coming in at like 4 a.m. You guys had already been up hours.
Yeah.
But I came in at 4 a.m. and it was Wednesday. I remember that because Wednesday was cruller day. And I got crullers fresh out of the fryer. And
now you're ruined for life.
I'm totally ruined for life.
Yeah.
It was just dreamy and it was glazed. Anyway, I'm back. It was delicious. But today we are not making donuts in my home because making donuts at home can sometimes is why we go out and buy donuts, because really you shouldn't go through the fuss if you have somebody like Rachel around. We are making Cowboy cookies. And what's in a Cowboy cookie and where did you come up with this idea? I mean, I know Cowboy cookies are a thing, but yours are their own special thing.
They are my own special thing. So this is the first recipe that I really created on my own or put my own spin on when I was in college at the University of Florida in Gainesville. And I used to bake these at like the size of your head and wrap them up individually. And I sold them at these cafes and coffee shops around town. And that's how I paid my rent. I was going to school to be a teacher, not a baker, but baking is the only thing that I was really good at and knew how to do. So, the Cowboy cookies, and I think so at the time I was, I like chocolate a lot and I like oats a lot. And it kind of, you didn't really see the oat chocolate combo often. It was always oatmeal raisin.
Yeah.
And so I started adding chocolate chunks to the oatmeal raisin, and then I added pecans too, because Florida, Georgia, pecans. But then I think what's really nice about these is there's a little bit of cinnamon and a tiny pinch of clove in them, and it just makes it so special and taste like home. And you can vary. In my book, I actually encourage people to play around with the contents of the cookie, the fun bits like the nuts and the chocolate, and around the holidays I like to do pistachio cranberry.
That's fancy.
Yeah, and it's pretty, and they always taste so yummy. And so this has kind of become or always been my signature cookie. It's what I give to my family for Christmas every year. They do not like the cranberry pistachio version. No. It has to be the original version.
I can see that.
There's been times that I like get it really hyped up with like pumpkin seeds and flax seeds and like, make it really healthy to take with me when I'm rock climbing. And, so that's the Cowboy cookie. The Cowboy cookie is like the original power bar that cowboys were able to take with them on the trails for the whole day, back in the time when we didn't have running water and refrigeration, and they would keep, and they'd be nutrient dense and easy to eat, and Cowboy cookies. And we've already made the dough and it looks delicious. I think Rachel encouraging me to try it. Oh yeah. It's like the best raw dough ever. I mean, raw cookie dough is good all the time, but
it has a little bit of clove,
right?
So nice.
Isn't it perfect?
Do you have a preference to using instant oats or 1 minute oats or steel cut oats or your brother's
Not
oats?
Steel cut oats. I like rolled oats, not the quick ones. The ones where you can really see the oats. I've been really digging the Bob's Red Mill thick cut or thick oats.
For your own eating?
I'm
pointing to my stomach right now. No one can do that. For your own eating in your stomach?
For my eating, for my baking, because they just have like a really nice toothsomeness. I like oats a lot. So if I'm using oats, I want oats.
I really like
I don't want them to go away.
I'm now putting some of these in the oven. Big ones and small ones, and I almost fell in the oven.
And I don't think I mentioned this in the cookbook, but any cookie dough like this, like that Toll House style where you cream butter and add sugar, you can put in a roll of parchment and do the slice and bake thing. Like, so it can be in your freezer anytime, or you can pre-scoop little rounds and then pull them out of the freezer and bake them whenever you want cookies.
Yeah. If you have a podcast called The Secret Life of Cookies and you tend to have a lot of cookies in your house, that tends to be what I do with them, is scoop them, freeze them, and then when we're desperate, we not desperate, but when we were just
cookie.
Exactly, when we're normal.
Yeah. And
so how did you come about with, like, brioche donuts are not the standard, as you point out. And look, here's the nice thing. Okay. I'm having you on. In the olden days, it used to be, I would talk to people and say, you've never had a brioche donut. So delicious. It's so amazing. But now you can actually send them places. Are you like your own personal gold belly, as it were?
Yeah. Yes. So
if you become desperate for this, I didn't realize this was going to turn into a pitch, but if you become desperate for a brioche donut, or any of your donuts, can you have them sent?
Yeah. So we are doing, if you go to rabblerise.com, there is something called a naked donut kit that you can buy. And
do you have to be over 18 to buy a naked donut?
No. They are family friendly.
It's not like mail order brides.
No. Sorry, but you can make them whatever you want them to be. So you can get this naked donut kit, and it comes with 6 brioche donuts that are naked. They don't have any glazes or toppings or anything on them, and they are in this nice thick plastic bag. And when you receive them, you can put them directly into your freezer if you don't want to make them right away, or if you want to pull out a couple at a time and not make all of them right away. My mom thinks this is the greatest thing ever, because she can have my donuts every day in Maryland.
Yeah, that's really sweet, actually.
Yeah. And and she tested the website to see if it worked before I even knew that it was connected to. She ordered the first box of naked donuts.
As a mom yourself, you get that.
Yeah, I totally get that. So I'm like, what? Who found the website? It's not even live yet. Oh, my mom. So you have the naked donuts, and then also in the box you have containers that have vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry glaze, which are our 3 most popular. And then you have 4 packages of different sprinkle blends that we make ourselves. And you can create whatever combination you'd like.
Yeah, and you can also go crazy and do that peanut butter, like the one that you do for May is the one, and you've been doing it for the longest time, for like your Mother's Day strawberry donut. Can you please tell people what that's like? It's like,
it's my favorite donut
too.
Of the year, and it lingers. We kind of started at the end of April before we can really get strawberries, and then it kind of lingers through the end of June, while the strawberries are still lingering. And so it's that plain brioche, and it's fried. And do you know what a honeymooner is?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. So when I first started making donuts, I have no experience working in a donut shop. I have no experience working in a bakery that makes donuts. This was all like trial and error. I lived in France for a while in high school doing an exchange program, and we used to go to this little bakery in town, and they fried brioche, and it looked like a hamburger bun, and it was split in half and filled with pastry cream and rolled in granulated sugar. So it was like, I would ask my family to take me to the bakery that makes the sweet burgers, like, because in my, very lacking French. So I knew that if you fried brioche, that is the result that it would yield. And that's how my donut thing started. And since then I have talked to other people who make donuts the traditional way, but my approach is from a bread baking background, an artisan bread baking background, not from a donut shop background. So I created this donut where I excuse me,
Allergies.
Not COVID. So it's you cut the brioche donut out, and then instead of cutting the standard size hole, you cut it a little bit bigger than a normal hole. So you're using 2 round cutters, and you leave the hole in the center, and it rises that way. And then you fry it that way. And we call them bullseyes because that's what they look like, or 2 concentric circles fried together. And when it comes out of the fryer, the top is perforated.
Oh, that's so cool.
So you can peel the top layer of donut dough off, and that's what we all eat for breakfast. Like,
Yes.
that's the baker's snack because there's really not much else to do with them. And we make bread pudding from time to time, but there's a lot of it's breakfast. So baker's breakfast. And then it exposes the inside fleshy part of the donut, and it creates this divot too. So then instead of you having like a jelly donut where you've got this massive jam right in the center, and like you bite into it and it's like
it spills
all over you. So now you have this little nest where you can layer flavors, and
that's where the
balance.
strawberry ones come.
Yeah. So we take the middle out, it's perforated, pull out the center. We dip the rim in the strawberry glaze, and we make the strawberry glaze with fresh strawberry jam, lots of sugar, fresh strawberry jam. And so we dip the rim in that, and then we take a bit of that strawberry jam and we put it in the bottom of the nest. And then we put fresh whipped cream on the top, and then we put on the tippy top fresh cut strawberry. And it's summer and donuts and everything good in the world.
It is. And we need good things in the world. Apparently Ted Cruz, I was seeing this morning, I hate to talk about Ted Cruz and donuts in the same place, so maybe I just won't. But he did say that after a month of Roe versus Wade being gone, that we won't even notice it. The leftists won't even know that it's gone.
Oh. Interesting.
So
like, oh, I'm pregnant, I want to do something about this. I won't notice that I can't go and do
no, you won't notice that. Well, because it's just kind of like your leftist delusions, I guess. You've actually been you've been an activist through your donuts, haven't you?
I have, much to my father's chagrin.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a difference of opinion.
He calls like once a week to tell me I'm going out of business.
Because
of my because how could I possibly make a by Dawn donut and I'm going to lose half of my business? And I'm like, have you been to Montclair, New Jersey? I don't think it's half.
People
it's
are buying them by the dozen.
Yeah.
Explain the by Dawn donut, because it was a beauty.
It was right after the election results came out, and we knew who our current president would be, and the donut said, "By Dawn." And then we made Kamala donuts too. And
what about you helped feed people? I remember when the Pink Pussy Hat March.
Oh yeah. We've done a lot.
Yeah, what did you do? Like, because you created these beautiful donuts.
Oh, those we made, they were pink pussycat donuts.
Yeah.
And then we also, the buses from Montclair were leaving very early in the morning, and there was a difficulty securing lunch. So we ended up making bagged lunches for everyone who was going to march. Part of being a bakery owner means that I never get to go to these fun things, especially if they're on a weekend, right, or near a holiday, or like ever. I don't get to go very far. So I create opportunities to have people come to me, like the running club, right, like lunches for the people who are marching, like the Planned Parenthood fundraiser that we did on election day.
You did that?
We did that. So it was entirely volunteer. Josie and I made, my daughter Josie, she's going to be 14 next month, and this was last year. So she and I think her brothers might have helped, or they might have like feigned help. So we did all of the baking. Like, we baked as much as we could, and it wasn't donuts. It was like cookie bars and like just whatever we could make, because election day was a Tuesday. The bakery's closed on Tuesday. And then a couple people from my staff volunteered to come in and help me sell these things. And then a couple of people from the community volunteered. And we had this bake sale for Planned Parenthood on election day. And I'm not kidding, the line went 2 blocks down and 1 block over to get, treats for to support Planned Parenthood. And I think we raised like $3,000 that day.
That's
for Planned
amazing.
Parenthood.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think we should all be having. You remember those like bumper stickers, like it'll be a great world when we can fund our military with bake sales and not, whatever. I think it's wonderful that our town, that you're doing these sort of thing, and we'll raise money however we need.
My next thought is, because it's hard to having a staff that is kind of maxed out, especially with COVID and like staff shortages and all of that. We're kind of maxed out, but I have a platform and a space. So my next iteration of raising money for Planned Parenthood is you bake it and bring it to my space, and we all sell the things together.
That's a great idea.
Right?
People will love it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it like the retro bake off.
Yes.
Okay. So folks out there in TV land, once upon a time, Rachel talked to me about one of your favorite desserts as a kid. Now, we're, of course, classically trained chefs.
It's still my favorite dessert.
Yeah. And we're very highfalutin folks. But what's your favorite dessert?
Strawberry pretzel salad, which is not a salad.
Exactly. I don't even think there's nothing green in it.
No.
There's nothing leafy in it. But what constitutes it?
So you take pretzels and make them into a crust, which I still think is brilliant for anything. It's genius, right? Like salty pretzel crust.
Saltines make a nice crust too.
Yeah, Ritz crackers. And then it gets a layer of Cool Whip and whipped cream.
Yeah,
has to be Cool Whip.
With whipped cream.
Yeah, like whipped cream, or Cool Whip and cream cheese.
Right.
Yeah. So you cream the cream cheese until you can add the Cool Whip to it, and you put that on top of the pretzel crust. Would that be
thawed Cool Whip, or do you?
No, never, because I'm never like that ahead of the game. So it's always like, grinding away to get as much out as you can. And then the top layer, the cherry on top, is the strawberry jello with fresh strawberries. Actually, growing up, it was always frozen strawberries.
Sure.
But now I use fresh strawberries in my strawberry jello layer.
That's highfalutin.
Yeah.
And so this sets, and it becomes a truly delicious,
so good
pie.
Yeah.
But it's pie. But you and I were like, these are amazing. I love Jello desserts. And I, collect cookbooks from like the middle of the last century. Now it's the last century. It sounds so much farther away. And they're just full of, and all of us have some sort of memory of like Watergate salad.
Oh, I love that one too.
Or ambrosia.
Uh-huh. Like, we never made ambrosia. We made Watergate salad.
But Rachel and I decided that we were going to have a baking contest in town for the best. We called it a retro bake-off, and boy, did we get ambrosia salad.
And when you mentioned the retro bake-off, can you still taste the lime jello and Oreo together? Because
that was, I think, the most. Can you explain to people what that was?
I don't know what it was. I don't know.
It was some sort of mold that involved lime jello and crushed Oreos, and that's probably all you need to hear, because
you don't need to make it. You don't need to go. Don't try that at home.
But I do hope that in the comments on this, you do tell us what your favorite retro dessert is, because I think we should do another one.
I think so too.
People have very, very warm memories of things like ambrosia salad, and our friends from the Midwest make those things. I'm sorry, folks in the Midwest, but some folks make them as like side dishes for Thanksgiving, and
we still do.
You do.
I make Waldorf salad or what we call it, pistachio salad.
Your family has this pistachio thing.
Wait, and sunshine salad. That's like a key element of every meal in the summer.
What is sunshine salad? Does it involve a brightly colored Jell-O?
It is orange Jell-O with shredded carrots and pineapple.
Oh, that does sound,
It's good
and cheery. That sounds great. And you can put the pineapple in and it doesn't melt the Jell-O?
No, you drain the crushed pineapple and yeah.
Magnificent. We'll be making that on the next episode of, I think we really do have to do this. It sounds kind of delicious, and it has carrots in it, which is delicious, very healthy. And pineapple is a tropical fruit, and so that's fancy. And it's like probably the queen eats it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
kind of thing she would eat. But she called it jelly. So you stand here before me looking quite together. But she said, you do actually. I think it's the running that has kept you together, but you were set to fall apart during COVID, and like small businesses. I use you as the example of the small business that suffered during COVID.
Yeah.
What happened as a small business? How did you manage to survive? Like you had to change. You changed within like a week.
Yeah.
So everything shut down.
I think one of the difficult things was that all the information that I got about rules and regulations during COVID was coming from the same sources that everyone else was. So like I'm watching the news to determine what the governor is telling me to do, because our local government is forever non-existent. There's no communication from our local government. The mayor's just using this as a stepping stone to his next political endeavor. True story. Doesn't care about small businesses. On the record, I am saying our mayor does not care about.
But you've said this like to CBS News
hell
as
yeah.
well. So yeah,
because I'm encouraging him to step up and care, but it's not going to happen. We're 2 years in. So that was the most difficult thing through all of it, was not having any communication or like rules, or we were all making it up as we went. And it's like, and the consumers think that the businesses have some, greater understanding of what's going on. And we probably had less understanding than the consumers did. And so then it was just like, then you're like straddling this bar of like doing what's right and cancel culture. Because, I'm not sure if the listeners have the same kind of groups in their communities, but I saw like somebody that was going to take a baseball bat to her neighbor if he ran by her house without a mask on again. Wow. I remember her name, by the way, if you want to know. It was 2 years ago. I will never forget her name. I bet her neighbor remembers her name too. So, but that's like the stuff that's going on. So it's like, it's not just if you make a mistake and you don't even know what the mistakes are. This is like people, looking back, think about it. People were like leaving their groceries on their porch for days.
Yep.
And like washing everything, and
we didn't know, and letting our mail sit so the cooties could die.
I know. And it's funny because like working in food service, how cooties are transmitted and how they're not transmitted. And you have a really good understanding of it because it's the life that you live day in and day out forever and ever.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So like, I feel like on one hand, we were made for this, oh, we don't want to transfer germs. That's what we do. We don't transfer germs.
That's why I found all like COVID recommendations where it's like, this is how you wash your hands before you eat something. I'm like,
what were you doing before?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you guys pivoted because no one was coming to buy donuts because of the cootie situation, but none of us were going in lockdown to grocery stores.
Right. So I'm one of us too. Right. And one of the great things about my business is that I'm an owner operator. So I'm like really keyed in to day-to-day operations. I didn't just like set up this bakery and walk away. Which is, and you see in our neighborhood and in New York, like other neighborhoods, the first businesses that went under were the businesses who didn't have an owner operator.
Interesting.
Who didn't because you have staff leaving. So if you're not able to do the work yourself, no one's going to do it. So there were a lot of businesses that went under, or the owner didn't want to put the work in. So they're like, I'm just closing.
So interesting.
And and that's really the behind the scenes on a lot of the people who closed and gave nice, like, this is why we're doing this. It was really like, it's like really hard work, and you've got to do it all yourself. I worked harder in the first 6 months of COVID than I have worked at any point in my professional career. And that includes opening businesses, that includes having babies and opening businesses, and like any iteration of it. I have never worked that hard in my life, and I never want to experience that again.
But why were you working so hard?
To feed people. So, it's like, back to that, we were made for this. It's like, I work in a bakery. I'm on the lowest of the low scale on the totem pole as far as like professional careers and, who you would pay money to do XYZ. And
well, you haven't met freelance writers.
Right. No, right there with you. And then COVID hits and people need food and they can't get it at the grocery store. And it's like, hold my beer. I got this. Like, this is the one thing that I can do. And all of a sudden everybody needed me,
Yeah.
like, so I baked so much bread.
It was brilliant.
The oven was full for like 24 hours a day. The oven was full. I've never baked so much bread, and I've worked for major bread companies. This was like, it was just so much bread, and it wasn't enough. Everything that I pulled out of the oven had been sold a week ago.
Mm-hmm. You would we were able to shop online with you, which was the greatest part. And I could pick up milk and eggs and occasionally bacon. Right. And it was like having the general store. You became the general store.
Right.
Like, none of us were going to the grocery.
So that's, and again, I'm one of us. So I knew what I couldn't get from the grocery store. And I knew that there was no supply issue. It was a supply chain issue, but not a supply issue, because I could still get flour, I could still get yeast, but in bulk. So I started breaking it down into consumer-friendly portions and selling it, because like you said, I couldn't sell donuts. So if I wanted my business to survive, I needed to sell something else. And then we were selling it online because it didn't require interaction with humans. And we could pre-sell it. We could put it out on tables outside with everyone's name on it in alphabetical order, and everyone could come through and pick up their groceries and be on their way, and we didn't have to breathe on each other or
and at some point you started providing vegetables and fruit.
Yeah.
And that was like, and I didn't have any choice over it. And I've since become the person who's like lives for my CSA, because someone else is saying, you're gonna have Swiss chard this week, you don't have to think about it. And I really like that. It means that we just don't, the same.
Right. And that was, and because I did this assorted box of veggies, and I can't remember, I used to know this, like, it's good that I forgot this.
Yes. That's probably,
but it had a certain number. Yeah. It had a certain number of fruits and a certain number of veggies in it. And it was all based on the supply. And that's why it wasn't a specific mix, because, maybe I couldn't get blueberries. And so just to give you a visual of this, like, we were getting about 6 pallets a day of fruits and vegetables that we were breaking down and assorting. I spent, I don't know, at least 4 hours a day picking up boxes and putting them down. We were going through 2 pallets of flour. That's 90 bags of flour in less than a week.
And it was being distributed to us.
It was being distributed. It was going into the breads.
And you were providing us with yeast. It was quite,
if
we'd had an active town council that looked out for whatever. Anyway, that's for another podcast on local government and why local journalism is important to local government. Anyway, that's a lecture I give to my journalism students. There's no oversight anymore, because you don't have local journalism, so you don't really have, or decent local journalism, with all due respect, that really is willing to become an investigative journalist.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And these people can get along with absolutely no oversight. And so nobody's digging around, nobody's smelling the bad stuff that's going on in local government. So that's I'll get off the soapbox on that one, but it's actually a super important topic because
because it's also something that the town could have been organizing, because the town has the same resources, if not more, than I do.
Right.
And people were paying me. I was not giving away food.
No.
And so,
but it meant you could lead. You were able to turn on a dime, and that allowed you to actually earn a dime when
Correct.
otherwise you would not be earning any money. So it was a wise move.
Yes. And it saved my business in more ways than one. It actually allowed me to pay off some of the debt that I had on the business, because we were processing such a volume. And it allowed me to keep paying my staff and, keep everybody employed. And until Omicron hit in December, we didn't have a single case of COVID on our staff.
That's remarkable.
Right?
That's truly remarkable, because you're all in close quarters.
We're all in close quarters. But also what the public might not know, during that time, there were 10 of us working, including me. Anybody who had an office job was on the floor. And it was all by choice at the beginning of this, when we knew things were shutting down, when we got word that the schools were closing. I gave everybody the opportunity to walk away. We also, at that point, unfortunately, we let go of all of our part-time staff. So I had 10 of us that were full-time. We rearranged our schedule so that the 10 of us would be working 40 hours together during the week. So we still are open Wednesday through Sunday, 7 to 2. I think in the beginning of COVID, it was like 8 to noon. Like it was a very short window to pick up orders. We weren't interacting with people.
Right.
And so we had our own pod or bubble or whatever. And I provided all of the groceries. I provided all the paper goods, the toilet paper, everything for those 10 people for 6 months, so that no one had to go to the grocery store.
So no one had to, in other words, go anywhere else.
But the bakery, home bakery. Not that, they could have, that was their choice. I didn't regulate that, but it was scary. And I didn't want anybody to want for anything or to feel like they were in a place where they couldn't get what they needed. So I gave it to them.
That's magnificent of you. And that's what the point of I was saying about local government is that you deserve like a big, like the key to the city or something.
I've never met the governor or the mayor. I have met the governor.
But not the mayor.
I've never met him.
Never mind. So we have to wind down, but I want to, your discussion of COVID and how hard you had to work leads me to the other discussion, which is, and something you and I have discussed before, you must get, you get letters all the time. You get, just like I would, when I was at Nickelodeon, people would be like, I love kids television. I would love to write a kid's book. It must be so easy. I'm so good with things, and not yucking anybody's yum. If you have it inside of you, of course you can do it. But a lot of people say, you know what? I'm going to quit my job and become a baker.
God, no. Don't do it.
But just like, why
just
not?
keep making cookies at home.
Why?
It is so hard. It's so much physical labor, and you don't get much at all. I'm the last one to get paid. At any given time, I generally have like 2 to 3 paychecks on the side that haven't been cashed because the business can't afford to pay me anything, like nothing.
Yeah.
And unless you are so passionate about it, you can do it 24/7. There's no off. There's no days off. And in fact, we're setting up a new payroll system, and Haley, who is managing the payroll, had to enter everybody's vacation allotment days. And she's like, what should I enter for you? And you're like, there is none, even when I'm away. On the day that I ran the Boston Marathon, I'm still responding to emails from customers on the starting line at the Boston Marathon. It's who I am, but it's also what made this business successful. So unless you're willing to do it 24/7 and live it, you don't do it.
What time do you get up in the morning?
3.
She gets up at 3 a.m, folks. No matter whether it's snowing, raining, sunny, or there's a blackout or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And you leave, and Do you smell like donuts?
Yes.
She smells like donuts. It's true.
Everything smells, not just me, like everything.
Isn't it
smells
true
like
that your
donuts.
kids have gone to school and people are like, you smell like donuts?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And you also work every single holiday that God gives.
Yes. Yes.
So you,
Except Christmas. I take Christmas off, but I
right.
bake for family. Yeah.
How do you feel about if you go to somebody else's house? Do you want them to make dessert for you?
Yes. 100%. I will eat anything that someone else makes. It could be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I am so grateful for that peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I did not make with my own hands.
Every single chef, from the fanciest to the guy who works at Dunkin' Donuts, with all due respect, would be much happier if when they came to your house, you cooked for them. And then it's true. They don't care what you make them.
Do you know what my favorite thing is? The peanut butter candy cakes from Tasty Cake. You know, it's like that vanilla cake with the peanut butter and then it's dipped in chocolate. If you gave me that, I'd be so happy.
I know exactly.
So if you made something, I'd be so much happier.
If you put a plate of like Oreo thins
Totally.
in front of me, I'd be like,
I will house it.
Exactly. And I love your cookies, your food, and thank you for being on the show. I'm going to eat a cookie now.
We have the little tiny ones.
I'm eating one of the little tiny ones. They're darker brown. Here's the sound. Here's your ASMR for the day. Maybe it wasn't so ASMR. Anyway, it's delicious. It looks beautiful inside. Smells delicious. I'm going to eat this now, but not while you guys are listening because nobody needs that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for bringing Rabble Rise Doughnuts to me. Rabble Rise, because it's a new name. It's not Montclair bread anymore.
It's like Rabble Rouse, but East.
Yes.
In the morning.
Exactly. Rabble Rise. And I'm going to sit down with a whole bunch of donuts now. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks again for joining me and Rachel Wyman this week. You can find a copy of her cookbook wherever fine cookbooks are sold and order her donuts via rabblerise.com. Please follow me on Substack for the recipe for Cowboy cookies and much more. Have a great week. Wash your hands.
We're leaving today and entering a world of Mickey Mouse waving, princess meeting and greeting, lightsaber clashing, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror dropping, Banshee flying, Space Mountain launching, galaxy rewinding. What's the point with galaxy rewinding? Fireworks igniting. World of other worlds. For whatever you love. Infinite worlds await at the most magical place on Earth, Walt Disney World Resort.